Hi everyone, my name is Chelsea. Welcome to Little Mountain Ranch. Welcome to my kitchen. I'm really happy to have you here with me today where we are going to whip together a quick Christmas cookie recipe. I haven't been able to do a ton of Christmas baking this year, so I'm trying to get as much done as I can before the big day. And once we are done here, we're gonna head down to the shop because Dan is putting together the desk for the office today. That project was also slowed. Everything kind of slowed down to almost a stop around here with the illness that I had over the last month. But Dan is on it today and I am so excited. One of the things that we have decided about the office is we're not crazy about the way the color looks down on the walls down there. There's not a lot of natural light because it's underneath our deck. Here is where the window is, and the way that that color looks during certain times of the day is almost like a baby blue color, and it feels a little bit like a baby's nursery there instead of what we were going for, which is office vibes. So we are probably going to end up repainting. You know, when I was younger, I would have just left the walls the color they were and just kind of dealt with them, even if I didn't love it. But I'm at a point in my life where I really want to surround myself with things that bring me joy. And I've talked about this a lot over the last couple of months just because it's been top of mind for me. But putting in a little bit of effort to bring joy into my life in small ways, because let's face it, life can be challenging, has really helped to shift my perspective on life and to live in a state of gratitude a little bit more. So we are going to change the color of the walls, but we have decided, our daughter is actually a professional painter. So we have decided that we're going to put it all together and then she'll come in and paint it all for us when it's all done. So that is the plan for today. I'm very excited about it. It's been a long time coming, but before we do that, let's get these cookies done. So we are going to make my Grandma Pam's shortbread recipe. I shared this recipe over on Instagram yesterday and my aunt commented on it. And this is my maternal aunt, so my mom's sister, and this is her mom's recipe. And she said she always did it the way that we've always done it, which is like this, where we roll the balls and then flatten them with a fork. But she said, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, she started doing it where she would roll it out into a log shape and then cut them that way. So I think I'm gonna try that because she said that's been working really well for this recipe. So we're gonna give that a try. All right, so we are going to use an entire pound of butter. And for shortbread, I just don't really think there's a good alternative for the butter in shortbread. I would be curious to know if any of you have alternatives for that, but in our house, it's an entire pound of butter. So now we're gonna whip this up until it's light and fluffy and almost white in color. Okay, so we have light and fluffy butter here. And into this, we are going to add a cup of icing sugar and beat this again. And we are going to mix 3 cups of flour in with half a cup of cornstarch. We'll just give this a mix here. And then we're going to mix this into here. And a good teaspoon of vanilla. I'm gonna actually add just a little bit more. I like mine very vanilla-y. It's probably more like 2 teaspoons. Okay, so you only want to mix this until everything's incorporated because you don't want to activate the gluten because then it'll give you more of a tough cookie. So just want to make sure it's going to hold together like so. And now I don't have saran wrap, so I'm going to be using some parchment paper and some tin foil to make our tube. Definitely going to need a bigger piece of tin foil. So now we'll put this in the fridge and let it chill for at least 30 minutes, but I'll probably give it a couple hours. Okay, we'll tidy up here and then we'll head outside and see how far Dan has made it in the shop. So right now I think he's planing all the wood. I can't remember what he said he was gonna do. Okay, so I'm down in the office sitting on one of our new office chairs. These are the office chairs that we got at Costco, and they're so comfortable. Dan is just doing some stud finding down there to put up. You were gonna make a joke, weren't you? He was gonna make.
Find that myself.
He always does that. Anyway, so he is going to put 2x4s along to mount the. Wow, my brain's not working. The desk too, to make it sturdy. So he's not sure whether he's going to need to use a middle beam or post on it to hold it up, or whether the span is around 9 feet, or whether he's going to be able to make it sturdy enough to not have to have that, but we'll have to wait and see. Okay, Dan is thinking that we'll do the top exactly like we did in the freeze dry room, which I'll go show you in a sec, but I just wanted to show you this. You see how green it looks right here? And then how blue it looks there. This color, it's called Sea Salt. It's from Sherwin-Williams, is the original color, but we got this done from Beauty Tone. Is a beautiful color, and it really changes with the kind of light. I just think because this is in the basement with a big deck in front of it, that it just, with this particular light, it's not exactly what we were going for. So we are gonna go with more of a green color, which is what I was wanting in here. Kind of like the kitchen cupboards upstairs, but a little bit brighter, like not quite as dark. But in the meantime, this will be just fine until my daughter has time to come out and paint. And then we're gonna be painting all out here too, because we just painted the whole basement white when we were first doing it, just because we just needed to get it done. So now we're gonna paint in here probably a soft yellow color, and she's gonna do all that too, which will be great, and she's really good, so it'll look beautiful. Okay, let me show you in here. Okay, so this is my freeze dry room, and this is let me back up, the countertop. So we're gonna do the desk countertop in the office exactly like this. I just love the way that it looks. Remember when we made yogurt in the last video? I think it was the last video we did. So this is actually the yogurt that we made that is in our Excalibur dehydrator. So we have it set to 110 for this. I think I said 120 in that video. 110 for the yogurt, and this yogurt's just about ready to come out and go into the fridge. So I think this is gonna look really, really good. I'm excited. All right, so Dan is just setting up the frame, getting the frame actually attached to the walls. He's using some really big screws right into the 2x4s in order to make it super sturdy, because we were hoping at this point not to have to put any legs on this, that it could just be a kind of floating and attached to the wall. And it actually worked out really well. It was perfect. All right, we have our cookies here that are nice and chilled. So while Dan makes the cross beams for the desk downstairs, we will make some cookies. It's not gonna be the prettiest. This isn't the prettiest, most smooth tube ever, but should work just fine. So normally I would put maraschino cherries on here, but I'm not using like artificial food dyes or buying products with artificial food dyes if I can help it. And those cherries have lots of food dye in them. So these are just going to be plain this year, but they'll taste just as good. And we have our oven preheated at 350. So these aren't going to spread much at all, so we'll be able to put them pretty close. These aren't going to look quite as pretty as the balls rolled with the fork marks in them, but I am all about making things easy this year, but still being able to get some of our traditional stuff done. And into the oven they go. So we're gonna bake those for around 8 to 10 minutes. We don't want them to start browning because that dries them out. So we'll keep a really close eye on them at the 8-minute mark and then give more time if we need. All right, friends, let's try one. Perfect. So Definitely not the prettiest Christmas cookie in the world. Tastes like a good shortbread though. But I have to say, I love tradition. I love feeling nostalgic. So I will probably always make the balls and push them down with a fork. Moving forward, this was a much easier way to do it. Well, I'm not feeling 100% though, so I'm happy for that. And the flavor is really, really good. Now, let's go back downstairs and see where Dan's at with everything. Some extra support in there. Awesome.
I think we should go no legs just for convenience of being able to move under it.
Yeah, if it's stable enough, why not? Once Dan was finished getting all the frame stuck onto the wall with some nice big screws, we went out to the shop and he got all of the wood that he planed. So we ran this through the planer several times, all nice and sanded, so it was nice and smooth. And now he's just doing the fascia board that's gonna go on the front of the desk. And we like to use teak oil on our reclaimed fir. We just like the color that it brings out. It's a little bit orangey, but not too orangey. So he's just putting this on with a cloth, and he ended up doing, I think it was 2 coats of this finish on the wood before he had it to the color that he liked. So he just let this sit in the shop overnight so that it could dry and all the stinky smell could come off. And then he brought everything in and got it set up on the frame. So I'm just getting all the windows washed and getting all of the dust off of everything. And as you can see, there is some nice morning light that comes in through the window this time of year, which is really beautiful. So he brought the fascia board in. So that's the board that's gonna go across the top of, oh no, actually, hang on just one second. He's actually bringing the last board that is going on for the top of the desk. That looks beautiful. All right, friends, we are just about there. We're so close. So the desk is now in. Doesn't it look so beautiful? So we have trim to do on the window still, and Dan is making trim to match the desk. We have to silicone all the trim that you can see, and we're actually painting the trim on the floor the same color as the walls. And then Dan has yet to trim the ceiling, and all of this will hopefully happen in the next week. We don't want to just leave it, because you know how renovation projects go. If you don't do them all the way till they're done, it will just stay like this for years. But I am so thrilled with it. Look at how beautiful it looks. We still have to put the vent up in the ceiling there, but it just turned out absolutely beautifully. I am thrilled with it. It's so lovely. This couch here I'm happy with, and then I have a little sign that a friend made me many years ago. This carpet that I have on the floor, we'll wait and see once we change the color on the walls to make it a little bit more green how it looks, but it does have some green in it, so I think it's gonna work. I will make sure that when we are completely finished decorating and everything in here that I show you what it looks like. I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. I wish you a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.